Alrighty guys, welcome in. This is section 1.2 of what is a commercial illustrator in OKKU's class, how to design stylish and trendy characters for illustrations on Coloso. As always, per request, I will more than happily take down the content in association with this course. By no means do I mean to devalue what they've created. I deeply respect them and what they do. This is just a means of helping those who are interested in the insights of the course. As always, if this helps you, like the video, subscribe, just let me know if I'm doing right by you guys. I'll try and create more content like this. So moving forwards, really this was a very down-to-earth perspective of OKKU's understanding between concept artists and illustrators, which is huge. Really good insight for those looking to get started commercially in either of those fields. So the big aspect is to know the difference between concept artists and illustrators to better understand the direction of your own career. And she goes over concept artists, what they do, and illustrators, which I'll glance over pretty briefly here. And as always, the link to this document will be backlinked to the video as well, just for ease of use here. So concept artists design characters that fit the project scope. And normally the gaming industry is a strong field for concept artists because there's this back and forth between 3D modeling and 2D designers, and the 2D designers essentially having to build up a better understanding for the modelers to create and form. So normally 2D designers will draw front and back views of 3D characters as well as side views for various textures, details, and specifications, and mainly to show covered areas that might not be seen in the final product, just so that the modelers have a better understanding of the flow and motion of the character that they're working with. They may assist in user interface and other game resource design, so maybe not necessarily characters, but a lot more of the other resources the game utilizes that may or may not be seen on the front end. So the whole idea is that there's an appealing design or style, and OKKU goes over a little bit more about the aspects of your portfolio that you want to really emphasize when trying to branch into commercial concept art. So she very highly recommends to show a diverse and strong portfolio of various aspects. So that's going to include humans, creatures, textures, generally a wide spectrum of what you're good at is what she recommends, which is why I have this highlighted as a really strong takeaway. She also recommends to show contrast of character portfolio pieces. So that's just going to mean characters of different sizes, details, silhouettes, just to show a variety of what you can draw. And then she dives a little bit more into illustrators and how they're kind of different. She mainly focuses on freelance illustrators, which are really a one-person company, but will generally draw their own works. And she recommends to, instead of focusing on what you're good at, like a concept artist, to focus on what the general public likes as well, and to try and combine those aspects to better suit what you're sort of putting out, since you're going to be freelancing from the public. So solid basics plus good art skill plus an already established intellectual property is going to be what gains people in popularity in terms of the public that she really sees. So fan art of IPs generally works well for getting traction, but she highly recommends for illustrators that are trying to build up this public space for themselves and build more of a clientele for their freelance work. So that can also include their own artists' IPs, so really your own creative works. What spheres of influence you may build from your own hands rather than borrowing from someone else's. She talks a little bit more about how they overlap in a fair bit and how they will work in various aspects of either or. In most cases, actually sometimes work together depending on the project. Her main takeaway is to focus on one field to get to commercial art faster, and which one would you prefer to work on and focus on that. So a quick summary, illustration, obviously freelance as mentioned earlier, and concept art are very similar fields, but with notable differences in the overall type of work done. And the main takeaway here is that by focusing on one kind or the other, commercial or monetizable success can be reached faster, and then other aspects of their fields can be incorporated to get a better fix for what works for the individual artist. Obviously this is a personal take of OKKU's as well as a approach on commercial illustration and concept art. It's going to vary depending on the artist, whatever circumstances they may be dealing with, etc., but I still think this is a very valuable insight that OKKU has shared with us on how she sees the commercial aspect of these art fields. And so the self-assigned homework that I thought was appropriate is to consider both concept art and illustration and narrow down aspects in each field that would be preferable to do to the individual, or I guess you in question. So like said, this was overall a very quick and blunt course, or I guess lecture. It's very short and sweet, and we're going to be getting into the nitty-gritty project work here pretty soon, so stay tuned if you're looking to get a little bit more insight as to that. But hopefully this helped for those who are in tune with this course review, and stick with me as we go further along to see what the project scope has to offer later in the future from OKKU. I hope this helped. Hopefully I will see you guys in the next one. You guys have a good one.